So,
Beyonce, I love great.
I'm happy to see y'all. Let's come to business. Good morning, everybody. Set up all different here today. Seriously, we in the other room because the wedding I got here in here. I was like, I'm not complaining about nothing today. I sure could. Well, I'm going to get into this. We started. We're getting in. Sometimes you feel like you're speaking to the choir, so I'm going to train this the way I know it needs to be trained anyway. Joe, I ain't never seen you with the glasses on, man. I have to look at you twice. I'm being turned into Clark Kent on this real quick. Took his glasses off, like, see, you show you right. Mesco! Welcome.
I'm alive.
You are alive. That's praise God. Me too. Right. See? Leave it like that, so that way. Definitely sound. We work to the front, man. In case somebody else come in the back, and that way they'll disturb. You know, like people on her. Okay, now there we go. See, I mean, can't be like the president. You want office? Shaking the hand, kissing the baby. Sit on down, sit on down. What they say? Sit on down, sit on down. Hey, Catherine. Marquise Catherine was a few minutes late. So you see her online and talk to her, your conference call, a few minutes behind.
That's right, Joseph behind me, so.
She gonna put it off and she sold Joseph out. That's all it was. Like, I didn't really do it. He made me carry the package officer. It's his fault. Well, I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna just really get into the basics of our business. And then I'm gonna get down to the business. Everything in life is all about you. I might be going somewhere, but when I go, you have to grow with me. At the end of the day, it's about you. It's what you want. So you are, in the finance world, the principal. You know, you think of schooling, they say that's the principal or the dean. But when you are the principal, it is the principal that has the main foundation. And if you want an example like get out of debt, you have to decrease the principal. Am I right? So if you get in trouble in life, you got to go to the principal. They say principalities you got to deal with. So this is all on you. Now, we have a service that I'm going to pick on called My Financial Work. So My Financial Work, we all know, is is $29.95. That right there is another principle. So if you, being a key principle, adds on another key principle, that sets a foundation. Does this make sense? So when you understand the 4 elements of the principle, then you'll realize that, okay, we have a tax service. Now, what's the one thing besides dying in the United States of America? We already know everybody will die, but other than that, what's the one thing that is everyone has to do with AT? Taxes. So what you will find in life is people will get involved in emotional things, but the reality of what's going to happen in life regardless is you got to pay taxes. So if I absolutely have to take care of this regardless whether I like it or not, agree with it or not, wouldn't it make sense to have a principal service that says they'll take care of it, they'll give you the advice on it if there's any questions, just in general? Does that make sense? You know, even if you got, you know, big blown out taxes and you go and pay some extra with someone else, you still have counsel. Everything in life is built on a counsel anyway. So if you don't have good counsel around you, that's why, you know, consultants are counsel. Y'all get this? So if you're saying I'm paying $29.95 a month just for the consulting, if I got a question, like I had a question this last week, and I said, hey, I want to do something, how will it affect the taxes if I do it? So it all fits into a business perspective. I got the answer. Now, also, another thing that we all have in life, a credit score. Excuse me, I have coffee on my mouth. Whether you like it or not, you do have a credit score. Does this make sense to you? So, if your credit score, let me kind of get y'all to think about something. For me, maybe I look at things as too simple. And I look at, when you look at the social classes of the world, you know, you have what's called a lower class, a middle class, and an upper class. Or you got poor and poverty, working class, and then the top 1%, however you want to label it. Everyone has something in common, but the lower class and the middle class, and including the upper middle class, they must count on credit. And whether you like it or not, you are given a credit score. So let's just go back to the key principle here. We're talking about a key principle, and we say you have to do taxes, it's mandated. You can't get away from that. Do we all agree with this? Okay, now, you birth a child. Whether you like it or not, you're going to tell that child, oh, I don't want you to have debt, I don't want you to mess with all that. That's fine, but that child goes on through life scared of debt and everything else. I used to have a ledge. But the credit score then becomes 0. Is 0 still a number? There are such things, people say, well, your lowest score can be, I know the lowest score is 0. And they would say, well, you don't have credit. So what they do in the banking world, they'll say that you need to go team with someone who does. And they will merge and say, you with 0, who hasn't done anything, that's crazy, but that's what they're saying, go get co-signed by someone else who has done something who will believe in you. Because if not, why should I believe in you if people who know you on a day-to-day basis won't co-sign you? Will you co-sign for them? Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. So we get mad in society. We want to blame presidents. We want to blame parents. And it's all information. So I look at this and I say, you know what? We, at a point, should be standing in a big, almost stadium, helping people better the key principle to their life. God, you must pay taxes. So whenever you lose your mind and go out and play and whatever else, taxes are still there. Whenever you lose your mind, I mean that literally, like when people say, man, I done lost my mind, you go do something else. So you lose your train of thought on where you should be. But no matter how you lose your train of thought, taxes and credit comes with your period. You can't get away from it. So when I look at it, I say, man, if I can just pay $29.95 a month, and this monitors me, this takes care of me, this gives me the counsel that I need, then I go from there. Now imagine you tell 3 other people about this same system. You get a referral fee for bringing those 3 in, plus a percentage of everything they do and who they tell throughout about being better based on the principle. So we don't want to go through life with a 0 credit. And if you have, this is how people have bad credit. Y'all ready for this? People end up with bad credit because they didn't follow directions in the beginning. It's real simple. And yes, sometimes you get in over your head and whatnot, it happens. But there's key principles in the beginning that you must follow. Meaning you need to manage your daily budget. If you don't manage your daily budget, then that affects your ability to pay your debt. Does this make sense? So again, those 4 elements that I just described show everything about your business. So people go out in society and say, oh, I know how to do this. I got this down. This is working. This is this. I don't need to do that. What they're running from is they think it's a typical business of go sell pills, powders, potions, and lotions, and whatever else. That's my assessment. Now from there, do we all agree with the key principle? If we just master the key principle, you make, and I'm gonna leave this up here, anywhere from 5,000 to infinity. But I'm gonna put a number anyway. Let's say 50,000 a month. The average person brings home less than $2,000 a month. So in our service, when we put the plan together, once I saw the numbers, I said, well, if the person doesn't even build it perfect, to just say, you know what, you are 500 customers, not 3,000, 500. From that point on, you will make more than the average American citizen per month. With residual, the lifestyle bonus, just that minimum. If you got to that point and said, you know what, I am sick and tired of this day job, so I'm going to bust my butt to get to the minimum. You get to the minimum, and all you do is encourage every day and educate every day. That's it. You do that every day, and you'll realize, now get this, you're getting all the cash. Remember, you also, as a business owner, get the tax benefits. So as Warren Buffett stated, he pays less in taxes than his secretary. He's the owner, she's the employee. Y'all get this? And I'm like, I want to be in an owner position. Before I move from this, do we understand how simple this technically is? You must team with 3 people. What I don't want it to be is like a group or a club of individuals. And what I also want you to do is think like a business owner. Because if you can think like a business owner, then that is the only way. Not only will you grow in net worth, but it's the only way you'll grow in life if you want to advance yourself. So I want to be able to say, hey, look, succeed in this company. But how you'll maintain your success is by adapting your mind to that level of success also. You cannot say, I want to go to another level with yesterday's bad habits. And I'll give you a living example of this. Ball players come straight out the hood or a lower income area or environment. They're instantly handed millions. What do you think they do with the money? Liabilities galore. What happens is we are so broke and poor that all of our lives, and I understand it because I did it too, to a certain extent, we want to show people our wealth. Hey, I made it. Hey, my hard work paid off. I came up. So when you see a person with a job and they get a raise and then they go buy the house that they can barely afford, the cars that they can barely afford, and they're doing that because they're trying to live up to an image. But if you understand what image you're created in, then you'll never get caught up in the image war. Because that's really what a lot of people are into right now, the war of the perception of how people see them. So ball players get money, they blow it, and then they blow their knee out. And all of a sudden, the money's gone. And then they can look back and say, man, I made millions and I have nothing to show for it. So I don't want, as we teach and train finances in JMG Net Worth, I don't want you to have the ball player mentality. Because I know this, you will make more money than your average day job if you actually apply the system and work the business. But once you do it, a lot of times you're like, oh, I got it made now. So they want to sit back and lay back. Never. I don't care how much money you make, you take your foot off the gas pedal. I can sit down and tell you stories where I even was like, I've arrived. Because it's more money than you ever could have imagined, and you can see it in your account. But then the recession hits and all this hits, and you're like, oh, I gotta get back out and get to run it again. Just don't stop running. So the mind and actions of the business owner. Are y'all ready?
Yeah. Yes.
I feel like I'm at a concert. Are y'all ready? The mind and actions of the business owner. You must have the mind with the actions. I mean, a lot of people who try to impress me even and say some good things and like, ooh, that was good. I'll even like their Facebook page. And so I'm like, yeah, that was dope. I'm like, but you're not doing it yourself. So for someone like me, if I get a mindset, if I get an idea, I want to run with it. If you go ask my wife, when I start saying, hey, wouldn't it make sense if we could do this? And she's just looking like, uh-oh. Say why? Because I don't have dream conversations. I have testimonies, I have vision, and I have a conversation I'm having of, if I'm talking about, man, one day, you better believe I have a system working for that one day to become a reality. Y'all don't know my pet peeves. I'm going to tell you a lot of pet peeves too. I can't stand people just sitting around talking about how great it's going to be, and then they just lay down and go to sleep. So I step over them and keep on going. The mind and the actions of a business owner. Everyone says they want a good life, yet taking the actions is different. If a man or woman ain't willing to take the actions, what you have to do is, it's not about getting caught up in your emotions. You have to move your feelings away from getting emotionally caught up in stuff and in all that. People come to me sometimes and they'll tell me all their personal problems and their personal issues. And I'll be like, the bills are still coming. So especially for men, I'm like, suck it up, let's go. I'm like, I'll even assist the person, say, what do you need to keep going? Let's go. But it's when they sit down like, hey, you stopped. Well, you don't care about me. Yes, I do, but I don't care about anyone who stops. Because I know there's a key principle. People don't fail, they give up. When a person gives up, there's nothing you can do until they say, okay, I'm done giving up. Then you have to go. My little guy got hit by a baseball the other day, and he looked at me and he wanted to cry, and everybody else was like, oh, I was like, y'all baby him. He's like, you're tough. No. One day I'm not going to be on this planet. He's going to get knocked down. He's going to have to get up on his own. It won't be mama, daddy, other people coming, oh, you okay? Like other parents, I see him run out there. This one little kid wasn't even crying until his mother came up. Are you okay? I'm like, now in my head, we keep real. In my head, like, you right, he gonna be a punk. He gonna be a straight up punk. He's boy wouldn't even cry into the thing. That's manipulation. That bothers me. That bothers me. I'm like, you manipulative little joker. You know, I'm sitting there holding the stat sheet, you know, helping coach the team and all that. I looked at my boy like, you're all right, man. That's part of the game. Okay. It's like, but if I'd have let my emotions sink into this, then he would have sinked into it. You know, then the other coach was like, man, PJ, I feel more sad for the ball than you. And I was like, that's the attitude to have. You broke the ball. And this other pitch was fire. PJ turned it, boom. And everybody's like, oh. And you can see him like, should I cry? Dang, that hurt. And I was like, you know when it hurt. Like, get up, man. Come on, get to your base. He hobbling down the first base. Like, man, get ready to run the second base here. And sorry, but you know what, in life, it's that you are going to get hit in life. You cannot lay there when you have the ability to get up and say, people, help me. No, that's what they do. You can't do that. You can't get caught up in the emotions. You got to say, you know what? Wait a minute. Nothing's broken. My pride is a little hurt. My ego is a little hurt. And I will be a little bruised from this. But on my own strength, I have the power to get up. Even if I do have a little tear in my eye, I have the power to get up and make it to the next base. Then you have to go. It's when people have the power to get up and they give up and they say, I'm helping. You know, LeBron's cramped up the other night. He needed help because his legs cramped up so bad he couldn't walk no more. It ain't the matter that they was winning. That's what I point out to people all the time. It's like, no, he didn't cramp up. They were losing. They were winning. They actually lost because he cramped up, so that worked out for the other team. I'm taking the foundation from Matthew 20, but I really want to teach this because this is the mind and the actions of an owner. You are all business owners, you know this, right? But it's also a qualifying thing. One thing I want you to realize is if you look around, you know, we always had a thing where we said, okay, the first Saturday of the month, we'll do a training. What happens is sometimes you do things and say, okay, now who's going to forget? Because their mind isn't really on what they tell you. And when you see that, you have to take mental note and say, wait a minute, your mind isn't on what you said. And then, remember what I was talking about co-signing earlier? You cannot co-sign and think somebody's going to co-sign you when they not want the credit to get better. Because that's a character check. So the owner is hard at work. For the kingdom of heaven is like the landowner who went out, what does that word say? Early one morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay the normal daily wage and sent them out to work. Key things to remember here is he went out early in the morning to get people to get to work. He went out early to get people, but he has the mindset of the owner. He did not sit back and say, when is the next meeting? When is the next whatever? He took ownership and he went out. At 9 o'clock in the morning, he was passing through the marketplace and saw some people standing around doing nothing. So he hired them. Keep in mind, 9 o'clock in the morning is not early one morning. This is, those people are already out working. Then he came 3 hours later at 9 o'clock in the morning and was passing through the marketplace and saw some people standing around doing nothing. Do you see people standing around doing nothing? I see it all the time, and they've always got something to say. So he hired them. Y'all can say he recruited them, telling them he would pay them whatever was right at the end of the day. So they went to work in the vineyard at noon, and again at 3, he did the same thing. The owner went out early. Then he went out again at 9. Then he went out again at noon. Then he went out again at 3. Did the owner stop working. The owner already knew he had people working, but then he stopped working. We must have the mind and actions of the owner. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, he was in town again and saw some more people standing around. See, I like the owner, because the owner will ask good questions sometimes. He asked them, why haven't you been working? Why haven't you been working today? Don't you want to ask people that sometimes? It's like, okay, you got this situation, you got all this working. Why haven't you been working? They replied, because no one hired us. I look at that and say, you know, why didn't that person get in? Why did this person get in? Because no one recruited them. They put it back on the owner. They said, well, you can tell me, no one hired me. Now, it's not like they were looking to get hired, because several times we saw that the people were standing around and doing nothing. So sometimes you have to look to people who are standing around doing nothing and say, hey, why aren't you doing something? Life is real. We have dreams. We have actions. We got to value life. So you must be doing something if you want something, right? Remember that old Luke record? I don't mean to go there. But they used to say, move something, move something. Move. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, that joint can come on and everybody in there be like, hey, move something. You must be moving something for something to work. So they replied, because no one hired us. The landowner told them. He told them. He didn't ask. He told them to go and join the others in the vineyard. Go and join the others. Symbolizing there are others already working. Go and join them. Now, this is 5 o'clock. We saw at 9 o'clock. But we saw earlier he had people working. Most people get off work, in our understanding, at 5 o'clock. But at 5 o'clock, y'all see this, right? He saw more people standing around. He asked them, why haven't you been working? They replied, because no one hired us. The landowner told them, go and join the others in the vineyard. They are still working. People have hidden standards, hidden values, hidden stock points. You have to know those if you're teaming up with them. So mine is, to make it clear, and I know it's over a lot of people say it when I say it, I am going to be a billionaire. Not I want to be a billionaire. I am going to be a billionaire. It may take a minute. Good friend of mine, Kenny Trout, it took him to 54. I'm like, good, I got some leeway. I'm still young. So when I look at this, I'm saying, okay, great. So I have to keep my mind on what it takes to get there. I have to make billionaire decisions, not 9-to-5 decisions. And 9-to-5 is an old or just a no way of thinking in the business world. Let me just leave it at that. Moving on. That evening, the owner told the foreman, he has some bosses. The foreman is a supervisor. He told the foreman to call the workers in and pay them, beginning with the last workers first. So the people that came the last hour, you know, people say, man, it went down to the 11th hour. You know, you hear that saying that we changed over time, went down to the 11th hour. And they kept going. When those hired at 5 o'clock were paid, each received a full day's wage. When those hired first came to get their pay, they assumed, you see a word, ass. You and me. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So they assumed they would receive more money, but they too were paid today's wage. Why would you assume such if that wasn't in the agreement? You have to put things in an understandable way and then say, follow the comp plan. Follow the pay plan. Do the work, you will get paid. When they received their pay, they protested to the owner. Those people worked only 1 hour, and yet you paid them just as much as you paid us, who worked all day in the scorching heat. I can't believe this. I worked that long for this person, and this is all they want to give me? This is ludicrous. He answered one of them, friend. Y'all got to understand, the business owner, stay cool. Friend, I haven't been up there. Did it? You agreed to work all day for the usual wage. That's like, dang. Yeah, but drop the mic, son. I just want to back. Take your money and go. This is yours. I did the fair thing. I wanted to pay this last worker the same as you. Is it again the law for me to do what I want to do with my money? Who do you think you're talking to? Right? I just love it. This is good stuff. People are missing out on some very valuable information. This is good. How you gonna tell a business owner what to do with his money? This man went out early. Some of the people were still asleep. He had to have knocked on their door and said, "Wake up, Joe. Let's get to work." I was like, "All right, man, I'm going out here, Yeah, they called me in today. So I'm gonna go in. So if somebody called you in to work, that means they were already there. Yeah, they just called me in. I'm going in and do these hours, and then afterwards we'll go kick it." He said, "Should you be jealous because I am kind to others? So those who are last will be first, and those who are first will be last." As a business owner, and thinking like a business owner, you will be kind to others. That's what I get out of this. As a business owner, you are what? Kind to owners. See, that's what helps me understand, how did this business owner get up early and go out to people, and they respected him enough to say, "Yeah, I'll go work with him," because he was kind to others. So, the owner is hard at work. Let's think about this. Number one, this is what we got to get out of. One, he went out early before the work hours started. So, if the work hours started at 6 a.m., when did the owner go out? He went out probably at least an hour before. Is that safe to say? I don't want us just to get the information. I have this image, and maybe I need to create it and make it mine. But I have this mental image of the brain being like a computer. And you know how you can go buy software and put it in your computer, or you can download an app, and then all of a sudden your computer can instantly do what that app says? That means the software of the computer, your brain, had the ability to function that way. But all you have to do is download the information and then now go act accordingly. So you see some of these sci-fi movies where they'll say, "Hey, I don't know how to fly this blue jet engine, helicopter." I forget which movie it is, but they got this. Huh? Yeah, The Matrix. It's like, yeah, The Matrix. Like, download the app so I can fly this jet helicopter. And they say, "Okay, type in, boom, it's downloading, do sit there. You get everything downloaded. Next thing you know, boom, he downloads how to fly a jet helicopter. in battle formation. So if you picture your mind, picture your brain, you're gathering information and you're receiving the information. That's what I want this to be for you as you are business owners, right? So no matter what your field of business is, when you are the owner, you do not act like an employee. You act like the owner. Owner. Say it. Owner. Say it again. Make it feel good. Owner. Say it one more time with me. Owner. You got to get romantic. You got to get intimate with like, ooh, owner. Yeah, because when you own something, you respect it. You love it. You treat it with kindness. I talked about my little guy. I own that little guy, but he's his own person. But I take ownership of my wife and my daughter and my home and my lifestyle. And when things don't go right, when you are really connected to the ownership of it, it hurts you, don't it? You are an owner. So the owner went out early before the work hours started. If you are an owner, you will always be working when others aren't. You will always start your working day when others have not. The owner gets there, makes sure everything's there, unlocks the doors, and everything is set so that when the people come to work, they have an establishment to work in. Are ready. If they get there and you get there, and now they got to stand around waiting on you, that at that point will be called bad ownership. So when you have a weekly meeting or anything else that you're doing, you are the owner. If you show up when the guest shows up, how you look? You look odd, don't you? You look like a suspect business owner. No, the owner is already there and everything is already prepared for people to receive the information, the training, and everything you need to go and succeed. Number two, he made agreements. First, he did not try to make it up along the way. If we look, it says the owner went out early, got people, explained to them the agreement. I am going to pay you a day's wage. This is the agreement. I am not going to pay you anything hourly or anything else. I'm going to pay you this for the day. Go now. He didn't say, I'm going to pay you this. Let me think about it. Go now. He made the agreement. You leave nothing in the gray area as an owner. You are either in or you are out. You don't leave it to chance. You like, hey, this is what you get paid. Do you agree? Yes. Sign here, go. Number three, he never stopped working or recruiting new help. Remember, he went out early. He went out again at 9 o'clock. He went out again at 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and then again at 5 o'clock. Now, a small-minded owner would say, well, we already got people there. The other people want a job, they just come over here. Major firms hire recruiters. I know this because about 8 months ago, a company hired me, wanted me to be a recruiter for them. And I'm like, no, man. Well, I have a bigger vision. I wouldn't, and it's not that I didn't want the job or want the money. It made sense to me. It's I have $1 billion idea. I have $1 billion vision. And out of respect to the person that I know and the relationship that we have, I thank them for considering me. However, I have not given up. And if I would have got on that track, I might have lasted 6 months. I might have lasted a year. But one morning I woke up and be like, man, I know too much. I gotta go for mine. And then I'd have been going to them saying, sorry, I gotta go. Now you're back to where you are. You deserve that. Say, get somebody who wants this. I respect it. You know I know how to do it because I'm kind and I don't mind talking to people and people don't offend me. You know what I mean? You gotta get thick skin sometimes. It's like people just be like, I don't want to do that. Great, good for you, next. I put the T on it. You gotta say it faster than that, next. some people dwell on stuff. It's like, don't dwell on it, move on. I promise you, this time stop.
No.
It's funny how we know that, but we stop in time. We understand that time does not stop. But all the time, we stop. From the moment you stop to the time span that it takes for you to make your mind up to get back going will be considered wasted time. You have to stay on your grind. So, the business owner never stopped recruiting new help. No matter how many people was already on the job, he never stopped. I know a leader when I see that leader is like, oh, you stop recruiting. You stop building. But you want to talk the game. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. You have to keep going. You have to keep producing. Why? Because tides change, people change, the weather changes, everything changes. What happened yesterday has already changed the way we do things today. Does this make sense to you? 10, 15 years ago, people didn't have YouTube. They didn't have Facebook, MySpace, and all this other stuff. Today, they do. Years ago, they didn't have cars with catalytic converters. So when you started a car, you got to pat. Come on, baby, start. Come on, baby, start. You patting the gas. Now today, you just turn the thing. Matter of fact, today you just push the button. Think about how time advances. So if you have an old way of doing things, you stop then all of a sudden, a few years later, you say, oh, I'm going to show these young bucks how to do it. It's like, whoa, what they doing now? Everything changes. The owner keeps going. That's also what keeps him current. Number 4, he would ask them the tough questions. Why haven't you been working? One thing that's tough for some people to do with me is, they say, man, you don't really listen. I'm like, no, I'll listen to what you said. And I realize that some people want to tell you their problem, but they don't want the solution. And then I have to politely tell them, never bring me into something that you don't want the solution for, because I'm not that guy. You have to go speak to a priest. Somebody who's going to sit there and listen to you and then tell you how many Hail Marys and send you on your way. I'm going to help you solve the problem. And if you don't want the problem solved, then I'm going to be a nuisance to you. Because I'm going to ask you, why haven't you been working? You knew the bill was due the whole time. Why didn't you ask somebody sooner? The bill due today, give me the money today. Calling me, I already got a budget. That's why you got to, in advance, make plans, provisions. In advance. The business owner asks tough questions. And when you ask a tough question, you want the answer, don't you? You just say, all right, you're not going to get to work. Sometimes you just got to like, man, I hear all of that. That absolutely has nothing to do with success. Go on and get to work. Number 6, he delegated with swift, clear directions. He told them, go. He told them, they gave, oh, this is why, and whatever. Man, go. Get to work. You have to delegate. You have to give directions. If you are unwilling to delegate as a business owner, your business will fail. Anyone who sits and tries to do everything themselves, they will implode and break down. Even computers need more memory. If the computer gets overloaded with stuff trying to do everything without the expanded memory, what happens to the computer? It slows down. So you have to expand the memory. So that means my mind, teaming with Brother Lockett's mind, that teams with Joe's mind, that teams with Fred's mind. Now all those minds get together, and now we can do things more accommodating to get to our end goal faster. Does this make sense? You got a problem telling people what to do. This brings out a certain boldness to him. He's so bold, he's like, all right, Hey, what y'all doing sitting over there doing nothing? Man, get on over here and get to work. You know you're going to pay them. Go on, get to work. Get it paid off. That's why I tell people, man, just go get your people. It's like, I hear your problems, but I don't see you trying to solve the problem. I get to the point if a person tells me the same problem over and over and over, and I'm not really seeing them trying to change what they do in their daily habits, they'll say, oh, you like that problem, don't you? They're like, oh, you gotta like it. You have to be willing to say, you know what? I get how I got in this situation. So therefore, I'm going to change my daily actions so that I can get where I want to go. Then I'm not going to have, this is what takes people out, right? Y'all ready? People are bipolar. You're like, what? I'm not picking on nobody emailing in and like, well, you're picking on the bipolar community. Now, this is be irrational here in the business world. It's very successful bipolar business people too. However, today you have this mind. You speak to the person tomorrow, there's a different problem. You're like, I thought you said you wanted to do this and that. And the next day, you're like, oh, this is going on. My girl's doing this. This is happening over here. My husband's doing that. I'm like, so you just brought in all of these problems and owned them. Why are you taking ownership of confusion instead of taking ownership of the solution? People see problems and own them. And I'm saying, disown the problem and own the solution. To me, it's just like, does that make sense to you all? So many people are owning the problems that it weighs them down. It drags them down. They go to grave, their body injuries and everything else. Their body starts breaking down because they're owning the problem. Instead of saying, you know what, man, let it ride. I ain't even, it's going to be what we make it be as long as we are fighting for the solution. But you have to stay consistent at focusing on the solution, not stopping every now and then and looking at the problem and say, oh man, the problem will always look bigger than the solution. The door and the weight of the problem is always magnified. And then you look at the solution, it's like, oh, that looks even harder because the problem is so big. See, you have to do that much more to get past a problem. Because once you get past the problem, you got to do things to keep going so that the problem doesn't happen again. So we just get right outside the problem, whoo, all right, good, good. The next thing you know, boom. Think about it. You running a football. You down the field. You're looking, the quarterback says hi. Quarterback hands you the ball. There's a problem. There's a whole defensive line right there. You need 5 yards to get a first down. You run 2 yards, and then you get hit with a problem. A big defensive tackle. Do you clinch the ball and say, ah, they got me? Or do you turn Walter Payton or Adrian Peterson on them and say, I got to get past these 2 yards? But it's not about just getting to the 2 yards. Why do you want the other 2 yards if you already have 3? Because it gives you more chances to get to your end zone. So, but if you can run through these 2 problems, you say, you know what, now that I got past here, have you ever seen somebody say, I got the first, so I'm laid down? No, if you get past there and you broke the tackle, that's when you turn the afterburners on. And when you turn the afterburners on, that's when you start sprinting towards that end zone. It may be 70 yards. Something's going to happen. When you get on that run, the problem does not stop pursuing you. The problem gets angrier that you broke the tackle. They even look at each other like, get him! And the problem all starts coming at you. While you're running up that sideline, that problem is coming. You feel the problem. You don't sit back and say, I got the first down, we good. No, you're not good. Because the end zone is why you wanted the first down in the first place. You don't want the first check. You want the final check. You don't want the first beginning or the first rep. You want the whole system fulfilled. You're looking at the scoreboard and you're saying, in order for us to win this game, I must get into this end zone. That's when you turn the afterburners on. But you see the stands. You see the people cheering for you. Go, go. But before then, the people were sitting there looking like, ooh, I'm uncertain. Oh God, some of them even be praying. Oh Lord, let them get this. You see the game? It's real life. That's what people do. It's like, oh, they need to get rid of the quarterback. They need to get rid of the coach. They need to get rid of this. That's what people do. They sit and they complain. Then all of a sudden, you break loose, as they would say about Adrian. It's like, he's loose, and you start running. You get in that end zone, and all of a sudden, everybody's your friend. Everybody's cheering you on. Everybody's saying, I need to the next play. That's why when you step out there, you must keep going. You can't say, I got past this small point, now I'm going to let my guard down. No, the game's not over. It's when you allow yourself to believe you arrived. I've seen people in the middle of a grind take a vacation. They're like, you selfish joker, how you going to take a vacation when you got all these people that just came in? Oh, yeah, I told them what to do. They're going to be back there. I'm like, no, they needed a leader. You got yours. Have them get theirs. Come back off to vacation. Look, your people are already dead. It's happened. Number 6. He had appointed bosses to assist him. You can't do it alone. You need people's help. He told the foreman to call the workers and pay them. He had a system in place. Did he actually pay them? It was his money. He recruited them, but the system that he put in place paid them. He told the foreman, call the workers in and pay them. This also symbolizes that he stuck to his end of the deal. Are y'all with me? I don't lose nobody. So now, number 7, he put up with the people protesting him. You see this in the business world. You look out, somebody's got a picket sign. It's like, wait a minute, when we hired you, this was the agreement, and you accepted the agreement. Now you're quitting? Now you're protesting? Well, I just wanted it to be this way. Then go be an owner yourself. That's the only way to change something, is to be an owner. They protested the owner. People are always walking around with picket signs. But keep in mind, there are some unmorally cool owners out there, so I don't want nobody saying, okay, it's fine, this guy owns it. I'll treat people with love and respect, period. But in this case, they protested him, but did he do anything wrong? This means sometimes you do everything right and people complain and protest you anyway. It is the foundation of a hater. You're like, what? I've asked many times, people say, I don't know, you got to watch that, Brother Paulie. And I'm like, well, ask them what I did to them. Like, well, I just don't know, man. There's something funny about that, brother. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But ask them, what did I do to you? Nothing. It's because you never met a person with the audacity to say, I'm going to be a billionaire. And I'm going for it. And that means, because I believe that I will make it, I will say, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What are you doing sitting on there? Let's go. You get it? I know we're going to make it. And I get the counsel and I get the information. And other people say, I don't know. Something funny about that. You never met a person with the audacity to go for it. That's it. It's like, I'm willing to go for it. You can't find anybody saying, Paulie beat us down. Paulie tied us up and put us in the trunk and said, if you don't get a rep, he's going to shoot you. You can't find that person. If anything, you find a person, man, I was talking to him, and in the middle of this conversation, he just turned and walked off. He didn't say nothing. You will find that person. I've done it, and I ask God, like, I've done that. Sometimes people I'm getting kind of like, look how forgive me. But I can only take so much bickering and complaining and whining because I'm like, you ain't gonna make it. It's like you're not a part of destiny. You're going to find a reason to quit. I promise you, I'm done. It's like you just going on and they'll be like, what am I talking about? It's like you don't want the solution, and I'm not going to argue with you. That's the whole point. I will not argue with you. Say something crazy to me, I'll be like, you must even make a face. We'll go. You get that? When you argue with a person, what's the point? Why are you arguing with people? You won't catch me arguing with nobody. You gotta get touch little dude, maybe a Nisha. I'm like, argue a little bit, but if you see me arguing with you, run. That's a warning. Because I don't argue with people. I knock people out. And because I know I have that nature, I leave. It keeps me out of trouble. It's like, you just got smart with me, you just said something stupid. So their own protection. God say me, he say me. 8, he still controlled his emotions when they were complaining about him. You must control your emotions. If you get irate with an irate person, you just escalated the problem, and now you will make yourself the liability. You must be quiet. When you silence yourself, it opens your ears to hear. It opens your eyes to see what's really going on. You'll notice certain things. You'll see certain people's movements around you. And all of a sudden, you can see what's going on. It's like I see the boy sitting in the corner waiting for me to act up. I see what's happening. This is a jump off right here. You try to get me to set off. I see dude in the corner. I see this dude over there. I see that guy and this dude over here has the camera. This is set up. I don't know. You see that? People would do that to you. He said, friend. That means even when they are protesting you, complaining about you, and you know they're wrong, respond friendly. Friend, I haven't been unfair. Didn't you agree to this? So if you didn't agree to this, then why did you come here and then try to change the agreement after the fact? Pet peeve. I don't like dealing with after the fact. I'm going to hold my end of the bargain up to the best of my ability. Nothing is perfect, period. I'll say that to anybody. But then I expect you to hold your end of the bargain. That's called an agreement, right? So he told his foreman to pay them, right? He held up his end of the agreement. Remember, he even said, take your money and go. He didn't say, take my money. He didn't insult them or belittle them. You did the work. This is yours. I no longer see this as mine. You've earned it. Take your money and go. But don't take your money and then go. Now you say, man, I should have, much work I did, I should have got paid more. That's unneeded stress. This is what you agreed to. This is a lifestyle you accepted. Be happy with it, and then do something on the side. Next time, get up as early as I have to get up, and stay as late as I'll have to stay, and let's go get it in. Does this make sense? You can't be average, wanting above average things. That's what creates debt and unhappiness. Whenever you see a person in deep debt and unhappiness, they were an average person trying to live an above average person's lifestyle without doing the matching above average works. You can have above average. You just must be willing first to do the above average. 9, he maintained his posture as the owner. You, no matter what, maintain your ownership. Hold your head up. You are the owner of something. Maintain that ownership. He said, is it against the law for me to do what I want with my money? No, it is not. He had to ask them a question to get them to think. Wait a minute, this is my money. How are you going to tell me what to do with what's mine? So as he spoke to them friendly, he then educated them that he was the boss. Y'all follow me? He educated them that he's the owner. Remember, you are a business owner. Once this clicks to you, every now and then, different people it clicks to at different times. And I'm like, well, you own it. I get people all the time. I actually say this all the time to people. I'm like, hey, there's no need of going to another company because, especially as a founding member, you have the right to come speak to me and say, hey, I want us to do this. And then I'll say, great, let's do it. And then we can steer the ship. So if a person says, oh, I'm leaving the company to go do this over here, I'm like, well, we could have got that too. What you do? If you don't like me, you know, people you don't like Fred, you know, tell the truth. Let's get it down. You get the point? But you don't leave a system when you are with someone who's listening and say, oh, what is it? I don't care if a woman comes to me and says, I want to sell makeup. I'm like, are you going to build it if I go get it? It's like, why? I am a business owner. I have a very large network of other business owners that I can team with and say, we want to market your product. Give it to me for this dollar so I can sell it to the public at this dollar, and we make it a win-win for everyone. Does this make sense? There is nothing that I can't do. So I can do this. The problem that I can't fix. Do y'all understand the power you have in that? We can be whatever we want to be as long as we're willing to do the work. As long as we're willing to do the work. Number 10. He had people get jealous of his actions. You will have people be jealous of you. It is a part of being a business owner. And when someone is jealous of you, they will defy your character in front of others. They will say things and do things to attack your character. And you will have to look and say, why are you hating this man or this woman? You jealous of them? No, I'm not. I'm not jealous of them. I just think you're jealous. If you're complaining because they did something with somebody else, that made you jealous. You have a problem. He said, should you be jealous because I am kind to others? That is also a form of manipulation. I want you to go beat this person up so I can feel better. And if you don't, then I'm going to protest you. Then you try to control me, right? That's exactly what they did. They protested him because he paid others what they feel the others should not have gotten paid. It's not about really technically what they got paid. They wanted to stay above the others. Y'all see how people get it? Well, I've been around longer, I did this, then I just want to stay above them. But he was kind to everyone. He says, no, technically, I respect and love you all, so I'm going to take care of everyone. Here's the agreement. Go get to work. He was just as thankful for the last as he was for those who started with him. So there'll be someone who you will bring into your business relationship tomorrow. You'll be thankful for them as the person you brought into your business relationship 6 months ago. Does this make sense? You won't say, hey, you new person, work your way here. I'm not going to respect you because this person has done more. You're going to say, hey, you new person, come over here with this older person, and I'm going to love you all the same. Isn't that fair? Yeah. Some folks didn't like that. So we have to be mindful of it. So the total workday for the owner is at least 14 hours. At least 14 hours. I have a saying, people don't fail, they give up. I have a saying, life is simple if you want it to be. If you look at this, and you really start thinking, and you look at your business success related to your personal success, and then you have to say, did I put in the time and consistently work as a business owner? Or did I be wavering and shift from business owner to this, then back to business owner to this, then back to business owner to this? Y'all get it? People do it all the time. Then they come and say, why is my business not working? I'm like, one, you missed the business ownership teaching. So you will go out with old methods, not realizing that the principle of a business owner always remains the same. In the beginning, you do the work. In the beginning, you have to get it set up. In the beginning, you have to hire the people. All of that in the beginning. Then you'll have a foreman. Then you have other systems that you put in place as you grow. Our system of unions and labor and all that says 8 hours is a work day. But for the employee, how many hours did they work? 12. The business owner, so keep in mind, it said at 5 o'clock he went out, and they say these people who worked this last hour, they still got paid. Why? So I'm just looking at the hours in. So that was a 12-hour workday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Then they were done. But the business owner was out by 5 a.m. and didn't shut down shop because he had to deal with HR issues and protesters for at least an hour after. So while they did 12 hours, the business owner did 14. But see, something happens as time goes on, and this is where people get the misunderstanding of business ownership. And there's a lot of people who I know clearly do not understand business, no matter how much they try and say they do. They don't. A business owner will put the most hours in the beginning. But if you have that mentality that, oh, as the owner, I'm going to the golf course, I have people working for me. No! When you see the guy on the golf course, he already built the business, meaning he already put the 14 hours a day for several years. You might be seeing him 15, 20 years later. Now he's enjoying the fruits of his labor. So you get new schoolers not understanding business one bit, saying, hey, you know, that's what we're doing. Today, we have the privilege to take the day off, to do this and that. And I'm even scratching my head like, you took the day off. You ain't got nothing going on to take the day off. You would know you can take the day off. This is what it looked like. If Sam Walton dead, Sam Walton is the guy who started Walmart. He could take the day off. Andrew Carnegie, Carnegie Steel Company, sold it to JP Morgan later for $480 million. He sold that back in the 1900s. Today that would have been $1 billion deal. Andrew Carnegie was the richest man in the world at that time. The estate is still getting paid. Ray Kroc, McDonald's. In the beginning, you would hear all the hard work these individuals have done. Kirk Carlson, I have a don't know the family, don't know nothing about him, but I mentor his work ethic. This guy worked relentless. So now we drive out on 494 and 394 exchange over there, and you see the big, pretty Kirk Carlson towers. You see all the Radisson hotels, you see the TGI Fridays, and I think they just sold them off and all that. You see all of this, the Carlson Wagon B, whatever travel company, they got all of this stuff going on. Multi-billion-dollar privately held company. It's like, but in the beginning, this guy went and built it and built it and built it and did 14 plus hours a day. Yeah, later he was able to enjoy it and sit back out and enjoy life. Yeah, did this. So we have business people who can be, or we have regular people who can be business owners, and a system that would allow them to get free at a very affordable rate that still act like employees. And then they say it's not working. I'm like, right, being an employee doesn't work for anyone. We have to adopt the owner mentality. That's the only way you get the freedom that you want eventually. So lazy people, let's clarify the difference, will sign up in something, start a business, and want to say, I own a business, I'm gonna sit back and do nothing. And then the business collapses. And they start saying, well, these people aren't working and these people are doing it. It's because they're looking at you. You have to take the mentality and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I gotta do 14 hours a day. I'm gonna do 14 hours a day. I'm gonna be up. And that will include even some Saturdays. So I'm saying, it's a Saturday morning, I'll be here. It's raining, just like some people are like, oh, it was raining, man. It was raining for me too. You know, when the snow out, people was like, oh man, it was snowing. It snowed for me too when I made it. Just like when I watched football teams, one guy was like, oh man, it's muddy out there. I couldn't get my traction. I'm like, well, it's muddy for the other team too. Whatever condition you're stating, it's that condition for the opposite also. Everyone has the same conditions. You just have to say, you know what? If I have the ability to be $5,000 a month or $15,000 a month or more, why am I not there? You cannot blame any other system. You have to look yourself in the mirror and take ownership and say, I'm not there because I was not consistent. I didn't go out early. I didn't go out again at 9 o'clock. I didn't go out again at 12 o'clock, again at 3 o'clock, and again at 5 o'clock when I thought. Some people 5 o'clock, man, my birthday's almost over. No, he kept on his grind anyway. That's the epitome of a superstar business owner. So now that we got that, let's get back to the principle. We all understand the true mind of a business owner first. We get it? The true mind of a business owner understand that it does take time. But when people say this, I get people say, oh, it'll take like 3 to 5 years. And I'm like, oh, you clearly don't understand this business. No, it doesn't take 3 to 5 years. It takes about 14, 15, 16 hours a day. Or even if it's 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 1 hour a day, but it takes it consistently. Y'all get that? You can't say I'm gonna do 1 hour here and then stop. And then do another hour and then stop. Then 3 weeks later, oh, now I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Then you go hard, I don't even help people then after that. You know, I get people who will stop, and all of a sudden they'll call me, I'm ready to do this, I'm ready to do this. Like, man, you shouldn't stop the last time. It's like, why? I got new people. So it's like I don't even have the space on my schedule to fit you in. So, voicemail for you. No, you have to catch up now. You have to go to work. You have to prove that you do not have the same bad habits. If you have bad habits that always take you out, you have to get to the point where you prove to yourself, not to anyone else, that you've gotten rid of those bad habits so that when you make the decision to succeed, they'll look up and be like, wow, this person did it. Yeah, then it's like the prodigal son. You want to kill the fat calf, and you're like, wow, they did it, welcome home. I'm glad you did it, I'm glad you stuck in there. But when people come for emotional stuff, it's like, oh, you really want to just get the motivation of Paul Jones, the motivational conversation. I'm going to get that anyway, just go on my website. That's human nature. Just look at my Facebook page. I promise you, sooner or later that day, I'm going to think of something and I'm going to document it. People don't realize I write books also. So, as I'm writing books, sometimes I'll write something and I go, ooh, that's good. I'll put it on Facebook. I'll tweet it. But a year later, you'll read a book and be like, oh, there's that line. So, I Quit will be out soon. Then the next book is already writing. I Quit was done a year ago. You get that? It's like, I'm like Biggie and Pop. If something happened to me, it's stuff in the archives. I didn't write books from the dead. It's like the next one is either going to be rules of leadership or new business new model. We haven't figured out the name of it. But it's written now. So when you see the franchise player concept, when you see the fear of success concept, no, it's actually the book I'm writing. And it's just like, oh, so everything goes, after I'm done with it, to the editors. And then they start keeping up. Then I don't have to stress it. So I make myself, I got a lazy bug to come teach a motivational message once a week. Because if not, I'll get lazy and I'll stop working my mind. So I make myself do it to stay current. When you make yourself do something, it means you also have to stay up to par in a condition. I can't say I want to play pro sports and then don't go to the gym. So you have to stay in condition. Y'all with me on this? The principle of my financial worth means you got a foundation laid there. Time back. I won't go over. What after that? Good. We got time. This is a crowd participation. Financial literacy quiz. You guys have to be experts at this. I'm all down the face of everything. I needed that drink. Cool off, brother. Question: how much of your income should you spend on monthly housing expenses? When you can read that as I talk. When you become a better business owner, you will be able to spew this information off to people in a normal conversation, and they will see how much knowledge you have of your product or the understanding of where to be, that they will want to join you and they will feel more confident to join you because they're looking at you. So, is it A, 50%, B, 43%, or C, 31%? The question is, how much of your income should you spend on monthly housing expenses? I need an answer.
Say C.
Got a C over here, can I get another C? You say B? Okay, you're going to spend 43%. I got C, I got B. We got two C's, we got two B's. Can I get an A? Can I get an A? Can I get an A?
But I think when they calculate your income, they look at A, 50%.
Yeah, they may do that. That's a mistake. We understand that system's a fix. C, 31%. Whether you rent or buy, it's best to keep your housing costs at a maximum of 31%. So you know if you have $1,000 a month mortgage, then you and your wife or whatever had better bring in a minimum of $3,200 a month. Does this help you? So if you have a $3,000 a month mortgage and you bring in $3,000 a month, you are maxed at 100%. You cannot get mad at the bank when they say, sorry, you don't make enough. And you say, but I know I did. I'm going to get a part-time job after you get me this. I'm going to build my home business after you give me the loan. No. We in the business world count the income first. It is documented first, then the standards are already set. Y'all with me? Question 2. If you want to improve your credit score, which step is the best to take? A, close old credit accounts. You no longer use. B, pay down your debt to at least 25% or less of each credit card limit. Or C, consolidate your debt on the balance transfer credit card. Who wants to give me that answer?
B.
The group says pay down your debt to at least 25% or less. Answer B, pay down your debt. Canceling a credit card account could cause your credit score to decline because it lowers the overall available credit. That raises your debt to income ratio. And while the balance transfer may help you pay your debt faster, watch out, your credit score can go down if the money you transfer maxes out the single credit card. So people say, well, I'm going to max this one out to pay this one off. But if you have a debt payoff plan system, it helps you do it the correct roll down way. The principle makes sense to everyday life. Are y'all with me? 3, how many times per year can you assess your free credit report at annualcreditreport.com? A, once a year. B, only when you have been turned down for a loan or credit card. Or C, 3 times a year. It's kind of a trick question because technically it's to be A, B, and C, but it's actually C. 3 times because you can get 1 for experience, transfer, and Netflix. So, if you are denied credit based on something in your credit history file, you are eligible for a free credit report from the reporting bureau used. However, regardless of your credit activity, you can get 1 free credit report from each of the credit reporting agencies Experian, Treasury, and Equifax. You can access your free credit report, period. You can do that also by having the principal and then have it monitored. Okay? This does make sense. See, when you are speeding on a highway and you go by a state trooper, what device do they have that tells you how fast you're going? A radar detector. It monitors your speed. And it tells you you are over the limit. I am now going to pull you over and penalize you for being over the limit. If you have a credit monitoring system, it monitors your stuff so that you know before you get penalized that you may be going over your limit. Wouldn't it make sense to know that there's an issue possibly ahead, so slow down before you get that mile down the road? And you see one of them speed traps, you see one where one guy's sitting outside the car with a radar gun and he's blocking, and you see 5 other cars lined up. And he's sitting there like, okay, Burgundy pickup with JMG on it. There you go. He's flying, got him 73, saved, boom, next. All right, got this one. Lexus coming from Red Lake, get him, let's go. Got him, boom. You see that? But if someone says, hey, yo, it's a speed trap ahead, slow down. When you get by that spot, you be like, shoot. Hey, all of a sudden, I'm glad I had my stuff monitored to tell me, slow down, you're about to be penalized. When you get a ticket, it costs you. When you don't monitor your credit, it costs you. Does this make sense to you this way? That's why we must know and have the principle. And once we get excited and say, wait a minute, this isn't just the old normal thing. We have something here, and everybody needs it because everyone has to have it. See, when we put this together, I was like, I don't want to work hard. I'm keeping it as simple as possible. And then I'm going to tell 3 other people, go keep it as simple as possible. And then you sit back and say, I thought they said they wanted to be wealthy. It's like, oh, somebody asked you, I'm like, you don't want to be wealthy, you want something, you want to be around the wealthy. Watch that. Do not be a professional groupie. No, that exists. You know, a professional groupie costs a man his whole entire NBA ball team. Not pay for professional groupies. How big should your emergency fund be? A, $1,000, B, 2 months of rent or mortgage payments, or C, 6 months of living expenses. Now, only you know how you live personally. But if you don't have enough to have C in place for when they clear the office and lay you off, that means when you start making this money, you don't get the check and go spend the money. You work the day job. Let me help you out. You work in the vineyard for that 8 hours. And then technically you should be working another 4 hours or another 6, depending on how you want to do your day. I've traded many times. 9 to 5, that's for the job. 5 to 10 or 5 to 9 is for you. But if you get off, say, all right, crack a brew, sit on the couch, turn on the game, woman cook for me and look like Al Bundy. And it's like, all right, I'll get up tomorrow and I'll go and I'll put a day's work in and I'm done. And it's like, great, then you may work there for 14, 15 years, and then they'll call you and say, the owner's selling the company, he's retiring. He's selling it. How dare him do that? It was all for him in the first place. What a selfish owner. I'm like, no, you're an idiot. It's like, it's his. Can I do what I want to do with my company? Ain't that what he said? That's why I look at people sometimes like, are they serious? It's like, no, the man started the company. He had a vision and ideas started for him and his family. The only difference with our system is like, hey, I have other entities I work. This was for the people. It's in my bylaws. If I die, my wife can't sell it. I was like, it could dissolve and people could just get to the point where they don't do nothing, but it'll always be for the people. Why? I learned from something in the past. That's why I look at people like, what are you doing? It's like, go build your freedom. I promise you, it's secure. Y'all get that? Some people really don't want freedom. They want to get in front of people and say, hey, look at me. And I'm like, screw that. Wealthy people, let's be real, wealthy people live in private communities. They never have a tax and look at me. Broke people are the ones saying, look at me. Ha ha, I got it made. You get that? Broke ball players, broke anybody who was broke at one time. They get in front of everybody and they like, look at the rollie, look at this, look at that. It is the media that follows wealthy people. Say, look at their yacht, look at their this and that. But they only allow private people who they deal with on their yachts. I'm a lover. See, people get mad. I'm like, I'm mad at it. I'm like, I might lease a boat, but I'm gonna buy a jet. Man, I want to talk to 900 do that. It's off the chain. It's about $32.5 million. They say, you spent $32 million on a plane? Well, yeah. I have 900 million, 78 million left. Why not? And the interest, the next month will put me back over $1 billion. Okay, let me get off the soapbox. The answer for this is 6 months of living expenses you need to put up. I'll go as far as to say go for a year now, but have at least 6 months. While the amount varies according to your living costs, your other assets, and whether you are a 1 or 2 income household, a good starting place for emergency saving is having enough to cover 6 months of living expenses. So if for some reason you lose the day job, you may go and collect the unemployment, but you won't need the unemployment. Y'all get this? But you are on your grind to get to work so that you never have to touch your emergency fund. Been there, don't like it, get out of it. Tell you from personal experience. The minute you touch your emergency fund, if you're like me, you're like, I can touch that money. Oh, man. You get that? And the only way to get out of it is go work hard. So I hear people all the time say, my line, I'm going to outwork you. I'll outwork you. And then I even see people say that. I'm like, you're not outworking me. You got to be on your grind. My wife sometimes, she'll come out and I'll be on the couch working. And she's like, baby, did you sleep? And I'm like, no, I'm sleeping on the bed. I got ideas. I got things I want to do. I have a big old goal for 90 days to just do some big stuff. That's why I'm looking at John. Come on, let's go build it. Here we go. Number 5. Which of these individuals needs life insurance the most? Life insurance, not health insurance. A, single mother with 2 children. B, 2-income married couple with children. C, an elderly woman. Can I get an answer besides Brother Locke? He answers every question. Hey, y'all notice that? He's also the number 1 income earner in the company. Have y'all noticed that? I pay attention to little things like that. Oh, it makes sense. God knows his stuff. Gotta be going. A, single mother with 2 children. Why? Life insurance is essential for someone who is the sole income provider for a family. So while the others may want life insurance to provide for family members, the single mother needs the most protection for her children in case of her death. Say the comment all the time, I pass away, my children are set. Period. But let me talk to y'all about wealth in common sense. How many got mamas, dads, uncles, old friends, close folks? Do you have life insurance on them? It's only $40 or $50 a month. See, something happened even in my family, and I was like, why don't we have life insurance on? It's guaranteed she's gonna go one day. Guaranteed. Now, we all have kids. Don't answer it out loud, but I want you to think. And I want you to go make the change immediately. It's only $40 or $50, maybe $75 tops a month to get life insurance on you or your children. Wealthy people count this as a necessary cost. So at the leaving of this earth, if you truly love your children, then when you go, they are instantly wealthy. And teach them the principles to do the same for their children. A good man leaves inheritance to his children's children. An idiot thinks he has to put all the money up himself. Oh man, life insurance. Nancy Jones is one rich woman. God forbid if I would do this planet. And that's the way I want it to be. I would be the guy, because I don't have a jealous spirit, because I'm such a Mac anyway. Tell you where I think. She would be remarried, living in a beautiful home and lifestyle with her husband, new husband, happily with my children and even maybe some of his children. And I would be standing there as the angel looking down like, I'm the man. Go on, girl, because you know he couldn't put it down like I was like, look at the car I put you in. Look at the house I put you in. I was looking at him like, boy, don't you love me too, don't you? Yeah. See, don't be caught up in the me spin. I'm like, now I hope that's when if she has remarried because I'm gone, I love her enough to be happy. I tell her all the time, baby, don't you sit back and listen to other people and be like, oh, she didn't born that long. Baby, move on. I'm gone. And you got some good money. Why? Live happy. Why? I want my children to see you happy. I don't disrespect my name. But be happy. Y'all get this? Y'all better get some life insurance. A lot of you put life insurance on me. Nobody else can. That's my dude. You gotta be serious about your future. And you have to protect your future. This right here is why some wealthy people stay wealthy. I had a meeting last Monday morning. I was talking to a guy about a housing situation. And I said, who owns the house over there? He said, the trust company owns the house for someone's estate. And I'm like, so the family just owns the house in a trust. And I'm like, this is like a $2.5 million beautiful home. I'm like, wow. You know what? I got to step my game up. It's like the people that live there, they work regular everyday people jobs. But because of what the grandfather did, or actually it's the great-grandfather, because of what he did, there's like 4 or 5 family members who live in $2 or $3 million homes. And they're just regular middle-class working people, but the trust, they can't even touch it. It's like living for free. And I'm like, that's what it's about. Now somebody else who don't have the vision for a better tomorrow for their family will say, well, they didn't have to work for nothing. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's the way it's supposed to be set up. It's supposed to be normal. Y'all get that? Living good and responsible is supposed to be normal. That right there is the foundation that will end. You got to teach financial literacy before the fool gets the money. But you can end a poverty curse right there and there. People die in the hood all the time. And I won't even blame on the hood. Because the poverty neighborhood or lower income area, any place doesn't have to face a or color on it. And nobody thought to pay $50 a month for life insurance. When a family could have been saying, we got $1 million, 10 family members now have 100,000 apiece, and then set that up. Does it make sense to you when I put it this way? Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens next meeting when I say, hey, you got life insurance? And I don't even have life insurance to sell you. You get that? I don't benefit from that. I'm just saying, come on, y'all. Don't live dumb. So if I'm going to tell you don't live dumb, then I'm going to tell you what to do. Then I'll tell you, if I go, you know, yeah, you may come to the funeral and all that, and I ain't going no time soon, God forbid. But people will be looking and asking like, oh, girl. Oh, yeah, they look at the little dude and look, and he should be like, oh, y'all some rich jokers. It's like, why? Daddy paid life insurance. Daddy set up a trust. Does it get this? Now, it doesn't matter your income or how much you've already made. Some people say, well, that's because you made millions, is why they're there. No, I could still be at Taco Bell making $35,000 to $45,000 a year and paying $50 to $75 a month every month, pass away, and my children are sad. Y'all get that? Don't get caught up in what you don't understand. It's simple. Get ahead in life. Understand the principle, because I'm going to teach people to live a better life regardless. You get this? This is all part of being around a person who understands finances. Number 6, or 8. 6 is, which of the following items is not part of your credit report? A, your current credit card balance. B, your payment history. Or C, your income. Your income is not a part of, they don't care how much you say you make. You can talk all that junk, because the proof that you know how to handle money will be in what you pay and how you pay. There are people who make $1 million a year with bad credit because they went and got some loans and stuff that they just don't even pay on time. They just don't do it. So they still have bad credit. You could have a low income people, listen to me. You can have a low income and still have perfect credit because you got the right kind of credit and you paid it. It didn't allow nothing to go over 31% of your income. Does it make sense? Now you got perfect credit. 7, which of the following individuals will pay the most in interest on the credit card over time? A, Jane, who makes the minimum payment on her credit card bill every month. B, Joe, who pays the balance on his credit card in full every month. Or C, Joyce, who sometimes pays the minimum, sometimes pays less than the minimum, and interest one payment on her credit card bill. Question is again, which of the following individuals will pay the most in interest on their credit card over time? What do you think? C. C. You think Jane, who makes the minimum payment on her credit card bill every month? Or C, Joyce, who sometimes pays the minimum, sometimes pays less than the minimum, and misses one payment on her credit card bill? C. Joyce, skipping a payment or paying less than the minimum amount due is likely to cause your credit card company to raise your interest rate. Paying only the minimum will also result in paying your large amount of interest over time. See, this is what's going to happen, fellas. Jane here, she's going to try to double check. Let me just go break it down to you. She's going to try to double Joe because Joe pays his balance in full every month. Now, reverse this. Who should Joe get with if he's going to pick either one? Now, we know Joyce over here looks good. She got that exotic look. You understand me? Joyce look good. You might go visit her a few times. You understand me, brother? But at the end of the day, you will hook your wagon up to Jane, who at least makes the minimum payment on her credit card bills every month. Because you can teach Jane and say, hey, baby, we don't do the minimum no more. I understand that you're only going to minimum because that's all you have. But now that you're up in this place, we're going to pay that stuff off every month. You get this? The Joyce can't do nothing but bring you down. She's got a spending habit. She's caught up emotionally. She needs all this stuff. And then it's like, oh, I got to need this stuff. And then you want to step in and be mad and pay it off. And then she feels good. No, she's going to do that next month again. It's like, no, I'd rather have the person who's making the payments doing all of that. Then you go. Now, with me, fellas, ladies, same way, just reverse it. If your credit score dropped because you got behind on your bills, what's the best way to improve your score? A, pay your bills on time. B, hire a credit repair company, which of course you got the principal. Or C, cancel your credit cards. Any takers? A, pay your bills on time. You want time to go in and just start paying them on time. Don't get folks like, I ain't gonna pay it because I done already messed up. No, you don't want to pay it in the first place. Start paying anyway. Start building the history where they can see all a credit report is a statistic about you. And showing that through this 8-month period, it's clear that you went through something. And then you came out of it and you showed a different behavior. And over time, it shows a pattern of you making good payments. Now, when a creditor wants to issue you credit and they're analyzing your credit report, remember that, it's like a report on who you are. They may say, explain this period. Because now it's up to them to say, well, let me figure out if I want to give you credit or not. And then you can say, you know what, I went in a hospital this period. This would happen to me, I got a car accident and all that. Oh, okay, I get it. Or I went through a divorce and all that, or this happened. You get what I'm saying? There are scenarios that human beings will look at that and say, it makes sense. You got back on the horse, you got back to work, you started paying your bills the best way you could. Yeah, we'll give you the loan. It's like, what? Odds are you are a responsible person, and even if you fall behind, you show a history of getting back on the horse and doing things over the right way. Does this make sense to you? So, canceling your credit cards won't help because the balance in your payment history will stay on your credit report. You know so many people do that. Yeah, forget it, just cancel it. You can't do nothing telling them people to cancel. They still want their money. A credit repair service cannot fix accurate negative information. Only time and a consistent ongoing payment record can fade the impact of negative information. So it's not that you have bad credit, it's maybe your score is lower. But when you show a history, so even a person that went bankrupt, then they'll say, you need to go rebuild credit history again. So then they will look and say, after 2 years, you can even go qualify for a mortgage. After this so much time, you can get this. It is a starting over period. But they will look at your credit history since D-Day, and they say, you did everything perfect. You did everything right. You got back in line, you regrouped, you can go. Do y'all get this? So it's all about time. We have to give it some time and let it go. 9, which of these accounts will allow you to make unlimited withdrawals without a fee? A, certificate of deposit. B, checking account. C, money market account. Anybody? A, certificate of deposit notices. B, checking account. Or C, request. Which of these accounts allows you to make unlimited withdrawals without a fee? Anybody else?
Well, B, if you go to your own bank, ATM machine. Yeah, that's true.
Speak. In general, most CDs limit your withdrawals to the end of the CD term. Money market accounts will allow only 6 withdrawals per month, and you can get money from checking accounts as many times as you want. However, rules can vary from the institution, so know the terms of the account you're getting. Let me explain to y'all the difference. The reason the banking thing works the way it works. Checking, they will give you free checking because banks make the majority of the money off of your mistakes. So they will give you free checking because they already know that the average person is going to make 2.3 overdrafts per month. So you're basically, for a lot of people, not everybody, for a lot of people are paying about $70 a month for the checking. So it is a stat that even shows that banks make astronomical fees on overdrafts. So it's free, but you can go and do it. It's free as well if you want. Put money in, go back an hour later, take out. They're not going to penalize you. You can do that as much as you want. However, on a CD, there are no overdraft fees and all that, but you're not writing a check. You're putting money in. But a certificate of deposit has a set interest rate. They're using that money. So they can't have you messing with money that they're using to send out in credit cards, car loans, home mortgages, and whatever. So let's think about this way. Miss goes to bank. I go to his bank and I say, hey, thank you for the $1,000 credit card you have given me. He didn't use his money. He used Fred's money. Fred went and deposited $1,000 in a CD. Said, all right, he's going to put steps in and say, hey, you can only withdraw this so much because we know that we already gave that money out. Get that? Banks don't have money sitting. It's called currency. They need the money to be moving. The minute you make a deposit, somebody else is saying, lend it. They're in business to make money, not to accommodate you. I'll repeat that. It's probably the illest thing I said about banks. They are in business to make money, not to accommodate you. So, the credit system, which is a rule set up with the government and the banks. When all hell broke loose, the government bailed out the banks, not you. They let your credit go bad, then they lend to you at a higher interest rate, the banks make more money. Sounds good to me. However, because I'm now using that credit card of $1,000, they can't have you come to get the money back right away. Do you get this? So I'm just giving it to you in the smallest term. So now imagine hundreds and hundreds of people a month getting $1,000 and hundreds of people putting their money in the bank. The bank is taking your money and giving out home loans, car loans, and everything else. And they're taking the interest of that money. And they're making it and investing and expanding more banks and so on and paying their staff and everything else. But it's the people's money that they lend out. Did I get this? Why the government has to step in is when the people stop putting money in the banks. Then the government steps in and gives the bank more money and says, go give it to the people. Then the people say, oh, everything's good. So they go get more money because now they got to pay that money back with interest. So anyway, understand that, yeah, they're going to give you the checking, but understand that's free. Number 10, which of these retirement savings plans will result in the largest sum by the time the individual is 65 years old? I'll tell you this. I wish I'd have known this when I was younger. Which means this is why I get out and I teach and I teach and I teach. Because once I say I wish I'd have known something when I was younger, then I go to younger folks and say, you know what? Kids, you act right. I know you're young, and I know you want to enjoy your life, but you also got to preserve your future life too. Which of these retirement savings plans will result in the largest sum by the time the individual is 65? A, Tom saves $1,000 per year from age 25 to 35 in an account earning 8% interest and then stops saving. B, Tracy saves $1,000 per year from age 35 to 65 in an account earning 8% interest. Or C, both the same. What do y'all think?
B.
B, because it looks like Tracy put more in.
I'll say A.
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 A. A. Surprise! Even though Tom invested only $10,000 and Tracy saved $30,000, Tom comes out ahead in the saving scenario with $169,000 in his account, compared to Tracy with $125,000. That's because Tom's money had a longer time to grow. That's the miracle of compound interest.
Go back
in
and that
action.
must miss up.
No problem. Which of these retirement savings plans will result and the largest sum by the time the individual is 65. Tom saves $1,000 per year from age 25 to 35 in the account, earnings 8% interest, and then stops. He never saves another penny in his life. He got to 35 and he said, pop champagne. Let's live it up. I'm spending every penny from every check I get. This is the plan my daughter, I told her to do it to 40. I'm like, you would save money and keep putting money up.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So you're
so
40.
you're saying that it still was earning the 8% interest?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He didn't take it out.
Okay, okay.
He didn't take it out. He put it up, and then he went on with his life. So while she is now taking $1,000, saving it, he takes $1,000 in vacations and enjoys life and kicks it, and they get to retire the same. It took her 3 times that. Can you understand? That's that Harley. That's that Benz you bought. That's that $1,000 more on a mortgage on a nicer house. All because from 25 to 35. How old are you this time?
Just turned 30.
You just turned 30. With the quickness, 2 things I'm telling you to do. You get $10,000 in the account, you put it in the account, and you get it. I know personally you'll blow more than $10,000 in a 30-day period. And you get life insurance for your daughter, and you pay it religiously every month. Get at least $10,000 in an account, and don't you ever touch it again.
Savings account.
No. We'll get into that. It's not a basic, that's a growth fund.
Okay.
So that's behind that. But I'm saying, do that. You get me?
Yes.
So that means if it takes you to say, okay, let's look at how simple this is. Tony in Atlanta, what are you, 25 now? 26. He's got time. He puts up $80 a month for 10 years. After 35, he never saves another penny. He just lives out. Folks who don't understand finance, like he just spent every check, everything he did. He can't hold money. And he's looking at you like, I already took care of retirement. Now still, imagine if you're still putting some more up. What if he would have kept doing it? That'd be over $1 million. At birth, if you were to put $10,000 in your baby's name, when that baby retires, that baby's a millionaire. Period. It's just one of the things where you just look at people like, we're struggling for no reason. The information is here. All we have to do is take action and think like an owner. So, at you passing, your daughter's set. When you retire, you're set. 2 things gonna happen. You're gonna want to retire, and you're gonna die. You don't want your kids taking care of you when you get old. And you want to take care of your kids that after you leave, they be like, dang, my dad loved me. Other than that, say the little words. Oh, I love you, son. I love you, daughter. And then you pass away. And now they out here in this world struggling. That ain't love. Okay, we got to go so far. I want y'all to go make a difference. Do this for real. There's no reason to struggle. We got too much information. Our business system is the best on the planet. But it's for people who want to really get ahead, not be a part of a group of individuals who talk a good game. That's what broke people do. You are not broke. You're just budgeting yourself. You know what I'm saying? I might say, you know, you're just going through some financial things right now. But you're not broke. You got a vision. You got an idea. You got a plan. And when you get fed up enough, you're going to say, you know what? I need to do this. So, if we got a little thing going on now. It's just $50. Put 3 in, they get the 50 back. Every qualified team director and executive team director get even $10 bonuses. So, example, if you had 100 people come in your business and you're an executive team director fully qualified, you get $2,000 just by helping 100 people get free. That action says, I want something. You get $1,000 if you're senior director by doing the exact same thing. and the executive senior director, if you have an executive senior director above you, will get 1,000. So now the both of you say, let's help you. And you get compensated, they get compensated. Now next month they're working, everybody's planning to win, but now you're seeing how your estate is growing. That's why we're called JMG net worth, not hyped up business. Man, I tell you, if y'all get it. This isn't the normal youth powder potion lotion. Then as time goes on, they order a steak, they order lots of chicken. And it's not going to stop there. I want to be, hey, I'm what they call a plus size. So I want to have the meals that a person can eat for the entire month that helps them lose weight. And all they're doing is paying their monthly thing to have food brought to them, good quality food. If you think I don't already have a system in place, you're tripping. I'm saying now we need to put the people in place. So body worth, we've got body worth energy training. Well, we've always had it. I've always owned the name Body Worth Energy. All I'm doing is saying, come on. It's like, why? I don't want to go create something that you got to sell people on. We are doing something that people just have to use common sense on. It's like, you got a credit score anyway. Why wouldn't you want to buy it? Did you see what happened at Target? Did you see all these other cyber war things going on where people are stealing each other's credit? Don't you see that? I'm like, okay, you gotta pay taxes anyway. So why wouldn't you at least know how to have a home business, work the job, and then have the home business write off a percentage of everything, so that now you realize that home business is free. The government wants you to be in business because they understand that business owners drive the economy. So as you do better, then now, yeah, you're paying taxes, you're bringing in other people who will pay taxes, everything gets better. Does it make sense to you? It's called a win-win situation. Hope you guys get it. Fred, you want to announce what the next meeting is? I'm forgetting, and then we'll close it down.
Yes, next meeting, June 19th, which is a Thursday night, 7 p.m., Crown Plaza. It's Thursday night.
It's June 19th. Y'all heard it. But there's a promotion going on right now. Don't play that game of, okay, I'm going to bring people June 19th. That's not what an owner would do. The owner wants to hog the room and say, I got the most people in the room that's already signed up who have people who need to get signed up. Don't put it all on you. Put it on the rest of the team. God bless.